morning students and welcome back to your chemistry class. So we were doing the chapter of hydrogen. In this chapter we have already finished till the laboratory preparation of hydrogen. Today we shall talk about the industrial manufacture of hydrogen, and this industrial manufacture of hydrogen can be done by three different processes. The first process that we need to study is the Bosch process. Okay. Then we also have to study the industrial manufacture of hydrogen from natural gas, right? And the third method is by electrolysis. So all these methods we are going to study today. So let us begin with the first method, that is the Bosch process. Takes place in 4 steps. So what are those 4 steps that we are going to do over here? So the first step, in the first step we take the superheated steam which is passed through white hot coke. So this coke with the superheated steam. So this is your white hot coke, right? And this is your superheated steam. Clear? When they are treated at 1000 degrees Celsius, they form a fuel gas. What is that fuel gas? It is called as water gas. Okay. And this is your endothermic reaction. Now why is it your endothermic reaction? The reason is that here firstly we are using white hot coke, means the coke is heated up till it is white hot. Then the water is being used in the form of steam. Apart from these two reactants which are already at high temperatures, we are also providing 1000 degrees Celsius heat for the reaction to proceed. Thus, what can we say? That this reaction is your endothermic reaction. Clear? Then we come to the second step. Now, what happens in the second step? Here, the reduction of the steam, right, to hydrogen takes place by carbon monoxide of the water gas. So this water gas, that is CO plus H2. This is the water gas I am talking about. The water gas. This is the water gas I am talking about. When this is mixed with excess of steam. Now this again, we are passing excess of steam through this water gas, right? And then apart from that, we also need some suitable conditions. What are those conditions? We need a catalyst, ferric oxide, and we also need since we are using a catalyst, we also need a promoter. So when this water gas which is mixed with excess of steam and it is passed over a heated ferric oxide, right? Over here, this ferric oxide, it acts as a catalyst, right? And then we need since this is a catalyst, then you also need a promoter, as I told you. So the promoter used over here is Cr2O3, chromic oxide, right? And then this reaction is to take place at 450 degrees. And further, what are we going to obtain? We shall obtain carbon dioxide and hydrogen gas, right? And this is your exothermic reaction. Now remember one thing, that no heating is required. This 450 degree is the heat which is already obtained from the first step. We haven't given extra heat. If I have written 450 over here, remember, I do not mean to say that we are providing 450 temperature over here separately. It is the temperature that we have already obtained from the first step. So from there, 450 of the temperature is used for the reaction to proceed. And then further it gives lots and lots of heat. So therefore it is called as exothermic reaction. I should write over here, and it gives heat energy. I hope this is very clear. Then we come to the third step. Now, what is the third step? Third step is about separation of carbon dioxide and hydrogen. If we separate carbon dioxide, then we can obtain hydrogen very clearly. Okay. So, this mixture of carbon dioxide and hydrogen, it is passed through cold water, right? Under pressure of say 30 atmosphere, or maybe it can be passed through caustic potash solution. And what is caustic potash solution? That is KOH. And this potassium hydroxide, it always absorbs the oxides, right? So over here, what is the oxide we are talking about? Carbon dioxide. So KOH is going to absorb carbon dioxide and thus hydrogen will be left, right? So let us do the third reaction over here. As I told you, if we pass this mixture through the cold water under 30 atmosphere, right? Then this carbon dioxide, it is passed through cold water. Then what it is going to form? It forms carbonic acid. Or maybe if KOH we use, then also CO2 will be removed. With water, cold water also carbon dioxide will be removed. With KOH also you can remove carbon dioxide, and this forms K2CO3 plus H2. So what did you get in both the cases, whether using CO2 or whether using whether using cold water or using caustic potash, you are obtaining hydrogen. So this is one way of separating. So the third step and the fourth step, they are the methods of separating hydrogen from the mixture of carbon dioxide and hydrogen. So one method of separation is that we separate carbon dioxide, we obtain hydrogen. One method is we obtain hydrogen, we remove hydrogen from here and carbon dioxide is left behind. So over here, the one method was this, that is I had explained you in the third step. Now coming to the fourth step. While preparation of carbon dioxide and hydrogen, in the second step there are traces of carbon monoxide also formed over here. So those traces of carbon monoxide also have to be removed to obtain hydrogen. So how can we do that? Then this mixture, that is CO2 and H2, this is passed through ammonical cuprous chloride solution, right? And this will remove all the uncombined carbon monoxide which is left behind over here. So what was the compound that I told you? Cuprous chloride, ammonical cuprous chloride. It absorbs all the carbon monoxide which is prepared over here, right? And this forms an addition compound. What is addition compound? CuCl dot CO dot 2H2O. This is termed as addition compound. Clear? So the moisture in hydrogen. Now this is hydrogen is obtained. Now the moisture that is present in hydrogen, that can be removed by either cooling the gas to -20 degrees Celsius when water freezes down, right? And pure hydrogen is collected in the steel cylinders. I hope till here everything is very clear. The Bosch process is clear to you, and Bosch process is one of the methods for the industrial manufacture of hydrogen. And this Bosch process, it involves 4 steps. First and second for the formation of hydrogen, third and fourth for the purification to obtain hydrogen from the products. Clear? Next we move to, now let us come to the second one, that is the hydrogen gas obtained from the natural gas. So the second method is from natural gas. Okay, so natural gas, it can be obtained from where? From petroleum wells. Okay, and mainly this natural gas contains what? Methane. It is this methane which is mixed with the steam and it is compressed at 30 atmosphere. So what are we using here? We are using water in the form of steam, and this is compressed at what? 30 atmosphere, right? And it is passed through nickel at what temperature? 800 degrees Celsius, right? Then what are we going to obtain? We will obtain carbon monoxide plus hydrogen. What is this called as? Water gas. Now this is just the first step for obtaining water gas by using the natural gas. Rest after this, all the steps that we did in the Bosch process will be used. Now this will be again treated with excess of steam, right? And this is again going to give us carbon dioxide and hydrogen. And then the third and the fourth step, if you remember, the third step was to remove carbon dioxide. How? By either adding cold water to it, then it forms carbonic acid, or we can add KOH to it. It will form potassium carbonate, leaving hydrogen, and some traces of carbon monoxide are formed. For that, to remove carbon monoxide, what can we use? We can use ammonical cuprous chloride to form addition compound. So this second method is also very clear to all of you, that the hydrogen can be manufactured also by the natural process. And what is that natural gas we are talking about? Over here is the methane. We next move to the third one, that is the process of electrolysis. Okay, so let us begin with the third process, that is by electrolysis. Okay, electrolysis of water. I should write it down over here. So water is the main source where we obtain hydrogen, H2O. So 2 volumes of hydrogen is present in water. So this is a very good method to obtain not only hydrogen, but in disguise we also obtain oxygen. So this is a very good method to be used for the manufacture of hydrogen, as we are just not obtaining one gas, but we are obtaining 2 gases. So over here hydrogen is commercially obtained by this particular process. Why did I say so? Because water contains 2 volumes of hydrogen over here. But remember, water is a stable compound. Okay, on simple heating, I am telling you, on simple heating it will not decompose to give you hydrogen and oxygen. So we need acidulated water. Now what is acidulated water? When we add 2 drops of dilute sulfuric acid to water, it forms an acidulated water. Clear? Now this water will contain ions. Remember, what did I say? Pure water does not allow heat or electricity to pass through. Why? Because it does not contain free mobile ions, right? So to that pure water, if we make it acidulated, how do we make it acidulated? By adding 2 drops of dilute sulfuric acid to it. So this dilute sulfuric acid is going to form ions in the water, and now they will allow electricity to pass through. So electricity, the process will be termed as electrolysis, right? Even this water which is acidulated, if you think of heating, then it requires very high temperature, say 3000, 4000 degrees to obtain hydrogen and oxygen. That is such a high temperature that cannot be obtained, and therefore we do not obtain hydrogen and oxygen by simply heating acidulated water. So what do? We do electrolysis of the acidulated water to obtain hydrogen. I hope this point is very clear. So when we pass electric current through the acidulated water, oxygen will be obtained at anode and hydrogen will be obtained as cathode. Okay. So if you look over here, this is our electrolyte. right? When the electric current passes, what is it going to give? It is going to give hydrogen and it is going to give oxygen. If we balance this, we get 2 parts of hydrogen and 1 part of oxygen. Clear? Now where do we obtain this? Remember, I don't have a very good drawing, but little bit of explanation I can give you over here. So this is a reservoir and these are the 2 electrodes. Okay, if I use these as my electrodes, okay, and here is the platinum wire used. This is connected to the battery. This is the positive end, this is the negative end, okay, and this is sealed from the top. This is sealed from the top. What do we do? From the reservoir, what is this? Reservoir. From reservoir we add the acid related water to it, okay, we add acid related water to it. Clear? So now the end which is connected to the positive end of the battery, this electrode will be called as anode. So this is a positive electrode. The one which is connected to the negative end of the battery, what is this called as? This is called as cathode. Clear? This point is clear. What are these? These are the electrodes I'm talking about. This is also the electrode and this is also your electrode. So which electrode is this? This is anode. Which electrode is this? This is cathode. Anode connected to the positive end and cathode connected to the negative end. Now when the current flows, it enters the electrolyte. This is an electrolyte, okay. This is your electrolyte. And what is your electrolyte? It is your acidulated water, okay. And this complete structure of the vessel, it is called as Hofmann's voltmeter. Hofmann's voltmeter. Clear? So current enters through anode and leaves the electrolyte through cathode. So when this current is formed, what happens? Hydrogen ions are given out and oxygen ions are given out. Okay, so look over here. Hydrogen, when electric current is passed through it, it gives out ions. What are they? The hydrogen ions are given out and your hydroxyl ions are given out, right? The hydrogen ions and the hydroxyl ions are given out. Now where will this hydrogen ion go to? Now hydrogen is a positive charge. Hydrogen has a positive charge. It will get attracted towards a negative electrode. So what is a negative electrode? Cathode is your negative electrode. So at cathode, who goes? Hydrogen goes. At anode is your positive electrode. So negative ion is going to come over there. So OH minus is going to go there. Is that clear? The migration of the ions in the electrolyte is clear. Which way are they going to move? Which one is going to move towards anode and which one is going to move towards cathode? All the positive ions are going to move towards cathode because opposite charges they attract. And anode is a positive electrode but negative ions move there. Now what happens at cathode? This hydrogen ion, it accepts one electron. Okay, hydrogen ion accepts one electron and hydrogen atom is formed. Number of such atoms combine and they form this hydrogen gas. Is this point clear? And hydrogen gas can be obtained over here. Now let us look at anode. What happens? Here the hydroxyl ion, it is going to lose one electron. This is showing you redox reaction. See, positive and addition and loss of electrons. So this is showing you oxidation reaction. So when it loses one electron, what is it going to form? It is going to form OH hydroxyl ion. Number of such hydroxyl ions are going to combine. So when number of such hydroxyl ions combine, they form oxygen and water. So water again goes into the liquid state and oxygen is collected at the anode. Clear? Now if you are going to observe these two electrodes, you will find that the hydrogen gas is just double to what we collect in the oxygen gas. That is what I am telling you. Hydrogen is just double to what we obtain as oxygen at anode. Clear? So in this process, electrolysis process, what is our motive? To obtain hydrogen. So 2 volumes of hydrogen we have already obtained, but at the same time we are also obtaining a very important gas, that is oxygen, and therefore this hydrogen is commercially used for the preparation of water. Is this point very clear to you? Now this pure hydrogen and this pure oxygen, they are obtained by what method? By the electrolysis method. So hydrogen is obtained where? Hydrogen is obtained at cathode and oxygen is obtained at anode. Now how do we test whether this is hydrogen and this is oxygen? So if you open this knob and bring a glowing splinter over here, you will see the test for hydrogen. It extinguishes with a pop sound and a blue flame will be obtained here. This shows that in the electrode cathode, what are we obtaining? We are obtaining hydrogen gas. Whereas if you bring a glowing splinter over here, open this knob and allow this glowing splinter for a second, what are we going to see? Oxygen helps in burning, and immediately this splinter, it rekindles brightly. The splinter, it rekindles brightly. So this is how we come to know that oxygen is present in the anode and hydrogen is obtained in the cathode. Okay, so that is all for today. Next time we shall talk about some chemical properties of hydrogen. Thank you.